Hi, and welcome to the Skin Karma Pod. I'm Carmine, the creator and voice of the Skin Karma blog. With more than 3 decades in beauty as a brand builder, copywriter, and skincare junkie, I'm putting my product wisdom and expertise to work demystifying skincare. The beauty industry spends an enormous amount of time talking about transformation. We celebrate cosmetic procedures, aesthetic treatments, reconstructive surgery, and the products that promise healthier, younger looking skin. But there's one part of that journey we rarely talk about: what happens afterward. A few weeks ago, I hosted a surgeon to talk about the importance of nutrition and healing after surgery. We discussed how something so fundamental to recovery has become a surprising blind spot in our healthcare system. Scar care appears to be another. My guest today is Jadis Montijo, founder and CEO of Montijo Scar Care. Whether it's surgery, an injury, childbirth, cancer treatment, or an unexpected accident, millions of people are left with scars that become lasting reminders of what their bodies have been through. Yet, like nutrition, scar care has remained surprisingly overlooked, not just by the beauty industry, but often by medicine as well. After undergoing gender-affirming top surgery, Jadis was disappointed by the scar care products he was prescribed. When those products ultimately failed and led to scar revision surgery, he realized the entire category needed to be reimagined. Together with his surgeon, Dr. Jonathan Keith, Jadis founded Montijo to create a better approach to scar care, one rooted in performance, inclusivity, and long-term skin health. Today, I want to explore why scar care has remained one of beauty's most overlooked categories, how scars shape not only the way we heal, but the way we see ourselves, and why recovery itself may be beauty's next great conversation. So let's get to it. Let's welcome Jadis to the pod. Jadis!
Hey, thank you for having me.
Hey, yeah, I'm excited to have you, even though we tried this once before.
hmm
But we're back and better than ever. I think we're better than
Exactly.
ever. Um, but Jadis, before we get to how and why you're revolutionizing scar care, I'd like to get a bit of your origin story.
Of course.
When you were growing up, what did you imagine would fulfill you in adulthood, whether that's a career or something more personal?
Oh my goodness. Um, it's funny. I talk to my parents and I'm always like, I wish you asked me permission before you decided to have me. But um what I thought would I definitely always enjoyed helping people. I think that's
Hmm.
always something that brought me joy. Even as a kid, I was like one of those kids who was like, oh, I want to be a doctor. I want to that was like what I wanted to grow up and do. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, but then I was like definitely a bit of an asshole in school. Um, I even I asked the teacher in first grade to go to the bathroom, and instead of going to the bathroom, I walked out of the front door and walked home. 'Cause
No.
yeah, because I didn't want to be there. So I was definitely like that kind of like a kid. Um,
Mm.
And I think I don't know. I don't think in school the learning styles aren't for everyone. It really wasn't. I'm like more of a hands-on doer
Yeah.
learner. So the
Yeah.
sitting in class and all that stuff wasn't really for me, and I think that kind of made me think that I wasn't going to be able to achieve that goal of being a doctor, because I just felt like I wasn't good at school. So
Mm.
yeah, I almost didn't know where I was going to go for a while.
Wow. There was that fascinates me because I loved a few of my classes so much. Like, this is
Yeah.
gonna expose me as the biggest geek on earth, but I studied Latin in high school, and that was my favorite class. Like,
I love that.
Latin and international relations. Like,
Yeah.
were there classes like that for you, at least, or did you just not connect with anything?
I definitely connected a lot, like when it came to like more of the hands-on classes, like the art and stuff like that. So like
Hmm.
I did my junior senior year of high school, I went part-time to a vocational school and I did like fine arts,
Oh,
where
wow.
I painting and drawing and stuff. That really was something that spoke to me as being creative. And
Hmm.
kept my interest and kind of that like whole vocational school situation like really I feel like kind of like saved me in a sense of like staying the course of high school in general.
Yeah. Yeah. I take it that you never imagined that you'd be revolutionizing a beauty category.
No, hell no. Like not at all. And like it's funny, but it's like just the way the twists and turns of life. But I think
Yeah.
it like it's where I am now. I am
Hmm.
here because of something that I felt inside all the way from when I was a kid back then.
Hmm.
Like if I like when I was in kindergarten, I remember coming home from school and asking my grandma when I was going to be allowed to go in the boys' bathroom. And
Oh, wow.
I was a girl, so obviously they're
Yeah.
like, you're not going to be allowed to go in the boys' bathroom. And it's like I always knew then. I feel like kindergarten is where I really understood more in depth the difference between a boy and a girl. And that's
Hmm.
when I understood that I was like, okay, well, I'm this, but how do I be that? Or like, I'm this, but I feel more like that. So,
Hmm.
and then growing up, when I grew up, being being trans really wasn't a thing. Not to
Yeah.
say it wasn't a thing at all, but it wasn't a thing where it was, I want to say, like easily accessible or something where you could just like go to a clinic and say like, hey, like this is how I feel. Like, let me go through these tests and motions and get hormones and start to go through this process. I didn't know anyone who was doing that. I didn't
Yeah.
understand what that even was. But it's like, it's crazy to think that like me finally going through that journey is what led me on the path of Motivo and revolutionizing scar care.
Yeah. That that's you like reminded me of my own experience recognizing, at the earliest age that I was gay. Like,
Yeah.
there was nobody around me who was gay. There were no heroes or idols or anybody that I could emulate or
Yeah.
imagine myself being. The closest thing to that for me was going to my own, like you talked about your own grandmother. Like, I had a
Yeah.
really intense connection with my maternal grandmother, and we
Hmm.
spent every Sunday at her house, and I would get so excited of like I would purr inside, like my cat Museus purrs when he's really
Yeah.
like excited about something or loving being around me or whatever.
Hmm.
And we would go to her house, and she would always have the TV on and Liberace would be on.
Yeah.
And Liberace was the only, not even like the closest thing to gay I could imagine, but the only exposure I had to anything that was gay. And I was like,
Yeah.
he's a buffoon. Like, he's a complete clown. Like,
Yeah.
right? Like, that was horrible for me.
Yeah.
Like,
You're
I
like,
completely get that. Like, you really have to figure it out on your own.
yeah. 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 So
It's kind of,
it was
yeah.
interesting growing up like that and kind of not understanding that. And
Hmm.
like growing up as like a tomboy, and stuff.
Hmm.
And, you know, like kind of later on, actually, I feel like a relationship. I don't feel like I know that my past relationship was kind of what really drove me to to finally like become this person that I am today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was dating someone who at the time she had substance abuse issues, and you know that wasn't
Mm-hmm.
something that I was super familiar with or like dealt with personally. But you know, not wanting to like judge her for her struggles, like obviously still gave that relationship a chance. And um, you know, she went back and forth with using and being clean and using and being clean during our relationship. And at one point, like, you know, I just kind of reached a rock bottom of like, you know, I'm trying so hard to help this person like be themselves, and I'm not being
Yeah.
myself at the end of the day. Like,
Right.
and that relationship and my dealings with her is really what made me realize that. And I'm like, you know, like we're like this is never going to work. And um you know, we broke up, and I'd say like a month later, I started to go through my process of transitioning. And I really am grateful for the experience that I had with her. And her and I are actually good friends to this day. Like she's almost like family. Like she's engaged, and I'm cool with her fiance, and like they come to all of our like family events. Like she was a good person at the end of the day. And like
Mm.
I'd like to say I'm a good person too. And I don't think that either one of our personal struggles and why we couldn't be in a relationship should make us not be in each other's lives. I think we really respect what we learned from each other and how we grew from each other. And that's what kind of helps us maintain that like friendship today. And I'm like very grateful because it really made me take a look at myself and like who I was and who I wanted to be.
Yeah. That's so cool. Um, let's talk about this.
Oh, TiVo,
The brand,
that's Latin.
Motivo. Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
totally is. Is it Latin for I motivate or I
Movement.
move? I
Yeah,
move. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. Um, Jada, some of the best brands, like if I think about it, begin because the founder couldn't find a product that they needed.
yeah.
Which seems kind of crazy considering how many products and brands there are in the world. Um,
Yes.
when did you realize the problem wasn't your scars from your top surgery or transition surgery? It was the products designed to treat them. Like, talk to me about your experience after top surgery. I think that's what really um, ended here.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, after my first top surgery, the
Hmm.
follow care is wear scar care products. And I tried multiple different brands. Some of the topicals either left like really greasy residue on my clothing. They like would never fully absorb. Some of them contain way too much alcohol that just absorbed and irritated. And
Mm.
then scar tapes, like they just kept falling off. I was at a bar one night and someone's like, "What is that on your shoe?" And I'm like, I looked down. It was my fucking scar tape, like from just me standing there sweating. It fell from under my
From
shirt and
under
onto my
your shirt. Oh
yeah.
my god.
So I'm like, what the fuck, dude? So I was like, all right, I'm not wearing this anymore. Um, and
Right.
also the scar tape kind of looked crazy on me. Like it didn't match my skin tone. It looked like I had these two like gigantic band-aids on my chest, which wasn't really what I was
Right.
going for. So I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just not going to wear these products at all. And then eventually over time, my scars started to stretch as my scars started to mature. They started to stretch and become
Mhm.
keloided and like very irritating. And just like not really like the look that I was going for when I initially anticipated like what the look would be from top surgery. Because it's a
Yeah.
major procedure. So,
Yeah.
you know, I ended up having to get a second surgery, a scar revision procedure. So that is basically you go under anesthesia again, which no complaints of. I love anesthesia, but you,
Because everything's done when you wake up.
yeah, you just like
Yeah.
disappear for a
Yeah.
little bit, which like kind of feels nice, like a little reset. Um,
Totally. Yeah, yeah.
so you go under anesthesia again. They kind of they cut out the scars and they do the incision area. So
Mm,
that's essentially what a scar revision procedure is. And the follow care to that is to wear scar care products. So I'm like,
right.
holy shit! Like, am I gonna go in circles with this? And that's kind of when I
Right.
expressed to my
Yeah.
surgeon that I don't want to go in circles with this. Like, is there another solution? Is there another remedy? And he said that majority of their patients have similar issues with the products, and that we just kind of had to find a way to make it work. And I'm like,
Mm,
well, uh, I don't like. That's kind of when the light bulb went off, and I'm like, there's got to be a better way. And
yeah.
I kind of went home and thought about it, and then I actually ended up reapproaching him, my plastic surgeon, Dr. Jonathan Keith, and I was
Yep.
like, would you be interested in making some better products? Like, do you have, is there something in mind that you could think of? And that's, we decided to partner up and create Motivo.
That's amazing. You see that
Thank
that
you.
the genesis of that, like, and how fortunate that he was willing to go through that with you.
Yeah, yeah, I'm very lucky to have him as like part of this journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, but why do you think it is that this, process of recovery ha- was so overlooked? Like, you're not the first person to go through this. You're
Yeah,
certainly not the first person to have a scar, a post-surgical scar. Like,
yeah.
why do you think what is it like that it wasn't being addressed? Is it that it's kind of this nebulous place between, the doctors and then beauty, and beauty doing its own thing, and just nobody was looking at this space?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, historically in general, like these products are more of like a first aid aisle, like
Mm,
first aid medical aisle than a beauty aisle. And that's kind of been like our blue ocean strategy is like we feel that it has a better fit in beauty, but I think in general
yeah.
the products just haven't been innovated on because of the people who are creating them. You have like these large faceless corporations who aren't really resonating with the customers, their experiences, and what they're going through enough to
Mhm.
make changes with the products. And the fact that like the people who are buying the products, they're buying them out of an emotional need, a need
Right.
to
Yeah.
heal the scar because of whatever they went through. So I feel like these companies, they know that people, it's like people are going to buy it anyway, whether they make a
Yeah.
good product or not, so it's
Yeah.
like that is kind of where I'm like, I don't want to buy something and have a bad experience with it, especially after the situation that I went through. I'm not buying a t-shirt or a new coffee mug. Like, I went
Right.
through a major changing procedure, and I want a product that's actually going to work for me.
Yeah. Yeah. You touched on that emotional aspect to that need,
Yeah.
and it reminds me of a story that you shared in an earlier conversation we had about a
Mhm.
woman who reached out to you after surviving domestic violence.
Yes.
Her
Yes.
scars weren't just physical, they were like a constant reminder of the trauma that she'd
Yeah,
endured.
I know.
Can you share that story for the listeners who don't know it?
Yeah, a customer reached out, asking what products would be best for the scars that she had, and that her scars are from her daughter's boyfriend stabbing her, and now she has these
Mm,
scars. When she looks at them, she has kind of like a PTSD when she
yeah,
sees
yeah,
them. And I think that I mean, my situation is very particular in what I went through and why I created these products, but the products aren't for only the people who've been through the same situation as me.
right.
I mean, on the reverse side of what I did, like I willingly, obviously, got top surgery, which is a double mastectomy. There are women who have breast cancer who
Mm,
through something that is very very personal, especially to a woman, of like having to get your breast removed for like because of that situation. And there's domestic violence situation, there's women have
Accidents.
C-sections, there's accidents, there's burns, there's
Yeah.
so many reasons why people have scars. And I don't think anyone wakes up in the morning and is like, I'm gonna get a scar today, or I want a scar today. And even if you think
Hmm.
about it, like people who go through cosmetic procedures, I'll speak for myself in this instance. Like, I went through that because I felt a certain insecurity within myself and how I looked. It like didn't match. So it's like even people going through cosmetic procedures, there is that insecurity of whatever it is and why they're getting that procedure, and they don't want a huge scar afterwards on top of it,
Right. Yeah. That's
you know?
considered failure, right? Like they went into it with a resolution to a
Yeah,
concern in mind, like you did.
exactly.
Yeah. It's like
So,
I created a whole other problem that shouldn't even exist.
yeah, and it's tough because it's not even like it's not it's not always, and it's not always not the doctor's fault. Um, I mean, like, obviously plastic surgeons and dermatologists, and there are certain specialties who really want to be proactive about these situations when it comes to scarring. And then there's other physicians who, because they don't really teach you about this in med school. It's like you heal
Right.
the problem, heal the
Yeah.
patient, and then that's it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's like you don't
Yeah.
really learn about scars or the afters, and when it comes to that, like that's more of like the dermatology and like plastics and stuff like that. So it's like if you go
Hmm.
to like orthopedics or anything else, it's like you're more than likely going to have a scar, and your doctor's not really going to give a shit about it afterwards. You know,
Totally. They're not
um,
trained to give a shit about it.
exactly.
They care. They of course care on a personal level, but
Yeah,
from their profession, they haven't been trained in that. And you really
yeah,
touched on something, and I talk to doctors, dermatologists, plastic surgeons.
hmm,
They're often my guests on the podcast, and I can't
yeah,
tell you how many times I hear from a doctor of whatever sort
hmm,
say, I wasn't trained to do that. We
yeah,
weren't trained. Like I had a doctor, he's an oculoplastic surgeon,
hmm,
and he really has thought through the process of recovery afterwards.
yeah,
And he was reminded of his own experience, his own personal experience where he needed surgery on his hand,
yeah.
and
Oof.
he was not given any kind of nutrition,
Mhm,
to help him recover. And he thought about that experience in a hospital, and unless you're in like the most like the trauma unit, like I think it was the burn unit, the burn
mhm,
recovery unit, that's the most serious of
yeah,
care required. And you get
mhm,
no nutrition. Like the nutrition is like pudding, that's
yeah,
not nutrition.
not
And
a
so he was like, we're not trained to think about nutrition. And
mhm,
I remember I have had a dermatologist, Dr. Katie Varman. She practices in San Francisco, and she's talked a lot about how they're trained for 1 week on a particular topic, and she's like, I really wanted to think of a better way to treat acne for my patients. And it
yeah,
can't just be topical. And she had to study and like pursue what it is internally going on and how nutrition can, help mitigate, acne
yeah,
breakout and, the cycle of acne, all of that.
and
It's just
that plays a big
it's
factor in
fascinating. And
sport.
yeah, the
Yeah.
nutrition does.
Nutrition definitely plays a big part, and I mean, to the point with, like, when it comes to derm and plastics, like, the patient, I feel like they're definitely more mindful, more careful of all these situations, because a patient is their walking billboard, their canvas, their piece of art. If you say, I had this plastic surgery, I have this huge fucking scar after, no one's gonna wanna go to that plastic surgeon. You know what I mean? They want so
Yeah,
I feel like it's,
yeah.
like, almost like they some of them do take the time to self-teach and research and, like, be more
Yeah.
careful with situations. And I think that that is great because it's something that, requires that continuing education versus like just, you learned your base level education from your med school and your residency. And now that's just like, you're not really continuing to improve or learn more.
Right. 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 To evolve.
Yeah,
Right.
but when it comes to, like, the situations that's, like, outside of the doctor's control or the physician's control is,
Mhm.
like, I mean, genetics play a huge role, and, I mean, your personal routines, like, are you laying around smoking cigarettes all day and eating shitty foods? Like, that is not gonna help your body heal right in general, which, I mean, as you're healing from a procedure, and that can impact, like, how your skin heals and how your scars form and how they mature over time. It's like, how healthy are you? How hydrated are you? Like, how do like what is your routine for taking care of your skin in general? And like, because scar care isn't instant gratification. You're not gonna put, no matter what brand you use, you're not gonna use it once and see a result.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so like your
Similar
nutrition,
similar to signs of aging. Like, yeah.
yeah, yeah, like you have to be
Um, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, you have to be consistent and kinda, like, have that
Oh, right.
healthy routine in mind.
Yeah. Let's talk about the brand and the products. Like,
Mhm.
talk to me about first of all what makes Motivo fundamentally different from traditional scar care products. Like, you talked
Yes.
about the alcohol thing. Like, alcohol
Mhm.
doesn't belong in any skincare, certainly
No,
not
no.
scar care, but yeah.
Yeah. So our, I mean, our scar tapes come in multiple different skin tones. I mentioned, like, that was an
Right
issue,
here,
and then
baby, right here.
there we go. Yep, flexible, that's Motivo, getting the movement in there. I think that that was, like,
Super
obviously
flexible.
a big thing for me was like being able to wear this like during like movements, simple activities, physical activities, and it being able to just stay on me, not having to worry about just standing still and sweating and it falling off of my skin. Um,
Right.
so yeah, that was a huge something that we wanted to make sure that we differentiated. The tape really helps to keep the incision together to help keep the tension off the skin, help keep the
Mhm.
scar from kind of separating and forming a new scar, help keep it compressed to
Mhm.
help minimize scar tissue buildup. Obviously, you can cover up wear that in the sun and help keep the scar protected from the sun. The sun is very damaging to a scar. You have to, it can almost cause like permanent discoloration to a scar very quickly.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
then
that
our
is hard to
topicals,
reverse.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Um, we have the
The
two
2
different
topicals,
topicals,
right?
the serum, yeah,
Yeah.
serum and the scar cream, and those silicone based, lightweight, fully absorbing, hydrating, help with discoloration, redness, texture, skin barrier support. The serum is more for newer scars, and then the cream is for like older, more mature scars.
Okay. And you worked with Dr. Keith?
Yes. So
You
Dr.
worked with
Keith,
Dr. Keith to formulate these?
yes, Dr. Keith helped formulate them.
Mhm.
The serum helps is more for a newer scar. It helps a lot with like itching, irritation. It has silver in it as an antimicrobial component because bacteria and germs on scarring and on healing skin can really impact the way that the scar forms over time. So we wanted to make sure that we had something for those earlier days of scarring because you, our approach to it is like it's not like because scar right off the bat they're not a one size fits all situation, and it's like you
Right.
wouldn't feed a teenager baby food and you wouldn't feed a baby food for a teenager or food for an adult. So it's like as your wound heals, as your scar heals and forms over time throughout, it's like I'd say it takes about 12 months for a scar to fully mature. You don't want to like you don't want to do too much in the beginning because that can impact how it heals. Like you don't want to expose that new sensitive layer of skin to like too many ingredients, too many chemicals, too many things. So it's better to have more of a
Right.
lightweight um to put a more lightweight topical on your skin in the beginning and then kind of graduate into that like more deal with one problem initially, then the next problem after that, which is why I start with the serum, kind of end with the cream.
Right. And I know developing products is challenging, but I think you might agree that educating consumers about a product is actually harder than developing the product itself.
Oh my gosh.
What do you think is the biggest challenge in building that awareness for an entirely overlooked category? Like you said, the consumer is used to, like, they're not even used to, obviously, when you have scars you're dealing with, you're not used to anything. But the discovery process for them is squatting down, in the aisle at CVS, right? Like, these products
Yeah.
are scar care products are probably the bottom shelf, and that's what I'm imagining. So, like, talk to me about that component, the education component.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard in general to build a brand nowadays. Like
Hmm.
very different from when I
Yeah.
like helped build a brand back in 2013. I mean, it's just this segment specifically is not saturated, but there's just so much information and what to do and do this and do that, like coming from so many places that I feel like it's hard for consumers to really understand what to trust and where to go. And I think that like one of our advantages with our brand is like we aren't one of those like faceless corporations. Like it's like a brand built from patient experience and doctor expertise. Like we've both
Mm,
I have a scar from procedures. Dr. Keith is doing procedures, essentially
mm,
creating these scars and making these incisions in people's skin all the time. So it's like we have two very different lived experiences and perspectives to the issue. Um
right.
which I think helps us kind of better inform and educate our consumers. But I think like the hardest thing is reaching and making them like understand, and that's why like I almost like don't even like force people into our brand when they ask questions. Like I'd rather give you the education overall towards the question that you're asking, and if you want to try our product, great. If you want to try a different brand first, that's fine. But like while you're going through this
Mhm.
research process, like educate yourself on like our ingredient differentiation and like other aspects of our brand that make us different. But at the end of the day, whatever the customer is comfortable buying, that's fine. I'm happy to have just like at least educated them on like what they're going through and what they should be doing right now.
Yeah. Um, Last question, and then we'll get to the lightning round. Um, as aesthetic procedures continue to grow, recovery may become one of beauty's next major areas of innovation, and
Yeah.
hopefully it does. Where do you see scar care and recovery more broadly, really, 5 years from now?
I see it in so many places, and that's why like we're like I think that
Mm,
scars really impact how people internalize their beauty, and that's why I've always seen it in this category more so than in like the first aid medical aisle where it's been sitting and boring. And I feel like I feel like it can be I feel like there's still so much more innovation towards this category that I haven't even tapped into yet. I mean, that we're planning to. We have like so many other products that are like in the works and being developed right now that we're super excited about. Um, but there's a lot of room for this. There's a lot of room for improvement. And I think that I mean it goes beyond beauty as well. Like there's so many reasons, like I said, of why people have scars that are just like not being
yeah.
tapped into. Um, there's a big reach for this, and I mean I'm excited to play a role in it and play a part in it and see what it turns into.
Yeah. How about liquefied second skin, and you spray it on? As you're spraying it on, it adapts to your own skin tone.
That would be awesome. We were actually we were trying to do something a while ago with this guy who was a chemist and had a PhD from Brown. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we we were working on something, but it wasn't turning out the way that we were wanting it to. So it kind of just like fell by the wayside, and we went towards other products. One of our next products that'll be out is a spray. It's not doing what you
Yeah.
what you're speaking of, but it is along those
What
lines for
they
sure.
do on the Enterprise holodeck. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
I'm thinking more than 5 years into the future. That
yeah,
is
yeah.
more like 105 years. Um,
Maybe.
let's move into the lightning round. Um, we'll have a little bit more fun here,
Mm.
but kick it off with the one lightning round question that I ask all of my guests, and that's something you believed early in your career that you no longer believe.
Yeah, I'll say this time and time again. I think it's that no matter how hard you work, it
Hmm.
doesn't guarantee you success. So you really need to
Mm,
love, love what you're doing and be passionate about it beyond that monetary gain that you are hoping to get at the end of it. I
hmm.
think you need to be passionate about what you're doing, and the value that it brings to the world in other ways besides the monetary value.
Amazing. How about one thing you do every day that fulfills you that maybe has nothing to do with the brand?
Um, I'm like such a weirdo. I love waking up in the morning and like hugging my cat, and I come downstairs and
Oh,
I say hello to all my plants. I have like so many plants around. I say good morning, girly. And then I love taking my mornings for myself. I don't like to take any phone calls until like 10 a.m. and I wake up around like 6.
Mhm.
So I really have almost what people would consider a whole day of like I walk the boardwalk. I live like right on the beach, so like every morning I
Mm,
walk the boardwalk, and I really 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 appreciate that quiet time and those like peaceful moments, because owning a business, it's hard to find time. Once the day starts, it's hard to find time to separate yourself.
yeah,
Especially
yeah,
like I'm in New Jersey, so like my day could be ending, but like it's still afternoon for people like you are on the West Coast, and it's like
yeah,
those are still invaluable conversations, and like like sometimes I would like love for my day doesn't end at 8 p.m. It doesn't end at 9 p.m. Like I'm on my phone, and like even though I'm like phone boning and scrolling fucking Instagram, like you get an email and I'm still like, of course, as a business owner, I'm gonna answer that. I'm gonna look at it. Like, so having that
yep,
quiet time in the morning where I know I'm not gonna have distractions is like really a valuable time for me that I am grateful for and take advantage of every day.
yeah. I have to alleviate some of your description of yourself as a weirdo when it comes to talking to your plants. We both have cats. I think that's
Yeah.
completely expected. Obviously, like
Definitely.
he's my world, right? Like cuz I'm his.
Yeah.
Um but in the middle of the night the other night, it was 2 nights ago. It
Mhm.
was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I sleep with like earplugs.
Okay.
Um and that's really, I probably don't have to anymore, but I did because I was sleeping at like a kind of a busy intersection in downtown Brooklyn, and it was so goddamn loud. Um,
Yeah.
so I just got used to it, and now, like, I stuff those things in, and I cannot really hear anything. I can hear
Yeah.
Musaeus if he comes to the side of the bed and he meows, but that's about it. But I heard this huge bang, and it was
Yeah.
something, and it sounded like a bounce, and then it kind of resolved itself, and I'm like, what did he
What the hell?
knock down? Because cats are always engaging in what I call like midnight fuckery, right? Like, what did he do? It didn't sound, honestly, it didn't sound like it was something broke. That's what I mean. Like a bounce, and it was like, okay, whatever it was, I'll deal with it in the morning. And I completely forgot about it
Yeah.
until a few hours after I was up, I came into the bedroom, and I have these two money trees in my bedroom that I moved here from New York.
Oh shit.
And, it's hard to move plants because they're
Yes.
going to be in pitch darkness with no love and no water and just nothing for
Yeah.
7 days, right? And so
Yeah.
I packed, each of these money trees were packed in a wardrobe box. And,
Okay.
the whole box was just the money tree. And around it was pillows and blankets to keep it cushioned.
Yeah.
And, I wrapped paper around them so the branches didn't, they were kind of stayed in place and they
Hmm.
weren't like, flailing about when the truck is rumbling across the country. And so so the fact that these two money trees not only survived, they're thriving is
Yeah.
like a thing. Like, that's a personal point of pride for me. I'm so proud that
Hell yeah.
that they're still with me and they're
Money trees are
thriving.
like sensitive.
And yeah, right, like
Yeah.
totally. And so I come around the corner into the bedroom and I look over, and the oldest money tree, you know, you can tell it's old, right? It only has like 3 branches left, and my
Uh-huh.
last cat tortured it, but it survived. And I could tell something was wrong with one of its cluster of leaves.
Yeah.
And I realized that what had happened in the middle of the night was, when I moved in here, I bought some of that like two-sided thick tape that you could
Yeah.
put on the side on the back of a picture and mount it on the wall that way.
Uh-huh.
And it's been getting hot and humid in LA. And one of these pictures fell in the middle of the night off the wall,
Oh shit.
and it hit the money tree. And one of its clusters of leaves, like the sprig
Uh-huh.
up leading up to that cluster of leaves, was bent. It didn't
Oh,
break all the way off, but it's bent. And I was devastated.
yeah.
And
You
I
just
was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You can do it. You can do you let me." And
yeah.
I got tape. I got
Mhm.
cellophane tape, and I taped up like I was wrapping its wound.
Exactly.
And then I got string and I propped it up, and I have the string is holding it up, and like all day I'm like, "You can do it. Come on, you can do
Doing
it." Like
whatever you
like it's
can. Right?
got a it's got a splint. That's what it is. This money tree, like, it'll be
Yeah.
fine. It'll like regrow that, but I'm like, please don't lose those 5 leaves. You need those 5 leaves.
Yeah, you need them. And you feel bad, and they're like part of
Yeah,
your family, these like plants, so
totally. Totally. I mean, after that, we made it across the country. This is what's going to do you in. I will
yeah,
not tolerate it.
you guys went through
Um,
it together.
a couple more questions. Jadis, if you hadn't founded Motivo, what do you think you'd be doing instead?
Oh man, I definitely think I would have my own brand. I'm like I always like dream of like all these crazy things and like ideas that I want to bring to life. And I don't think Motivo is the finish line for me. And I don't even think whatever I do next will be anything close to Motivo.
Mm,
But I th- I don't know. I think like from like where I was in the cannabis industry, like I'd probably still be like playing around in that industry, but
yeah.
um I would definitely I would have a brand still. I mean, it's a pain in the ass and sometimes you fucking hate it and you want to scream at a wall and like not sometimes you want to scream at a wall. You always want to scream at a wall. But
Yeah.
it's almost like having a brand or having a business like it's like a toxic relationship because like sometimes like you're
Yeah.
giving it your all and sometimes it's not giving you anything back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
still give it to it and you still like feed into it and you're like, no, just like let me try this way and let me try to save you and I just like want to help you and that's that's literally but yeah, I would have a brand. It's just in my nature to kind of be like doing my own thing.
Yeah. Um, we can't really see this. Well, we can see your arm, but I know that you're an ink guy, that you're tatted. What's the
Yeah.
story behind your favorite tattoo?
I have this red line that goes down the center of my spine to my butt crack. It's
Mm,
supposed to I have to get it finished. It's supposed to go to my hairline up here. And it's just like, it's just, for me, it's just balance.
Mm.
Down, right down the middle, balance. I have and then I have the blackout sleeve on one side, which when people ask, I always say that's my dark side. We all have one. And then, I
Yeah.
have my other side, which is like my light and like caring and like empathetic side.
Yeah. I think back tattoos are no joke. Like
Yeah.
that was
Down the
my
side.
I thought the tattoo on my upper left arm was painful, but that back tattoo, like I had spasms that whole night.
Yeah, yeah. And mine is down the center of my spine, like
The
all those like
spine.
nerves. Yeah, yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
that was crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. What's
Yeah.
your favorite comfort food?
I'm a huge meat eater. I'll literally, like, you could give
Oh
me a
God.
steak, you can give me a sausage, you can give me a fucking just, I just, any kind of meat. Like the
What
Brazilian
I take
rodillo, like I
I was
could
just gonna say.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna ask you, Fogo de Chao, right?
Yeah, like
It's
any type of
expensive. It's expensive, but that's a lot of meat. Like that.
yeah,
That would satisfy you.
like
Yeah,
that's my kind of like me. There's like a meat and like rice and beans and like that is like a comfort like
that's
food. I love to
hilarious. I
cook.
love it.
I cook a lot.
Oh,
It
really? That's cool.
yeah, it kind of it's like a disconnect and decompression from the day. It's like something that I can do that's like outside of like business and work that makes me, kind of feel grounded. So I do try to cook as much as possible.
Love it. Two more. One thing people would be surprised to learn about you.
Oh my gosh, I am a box of mystery, but also openness. Like I don't I don't know. I'd have to think maybe that I feel like it's funny sometimes when I'm walking the boardwalk, I'm like people look at me like with all my tattoos and my style and stuff and they're like this guy's like fucking listening to maybe like screamo or some like rap music, but like meanwhile I'm
Mm.
like literally like listening to Adele like crying inside or like some like,
Oh my
like piano.
God.
Like I
A
love like
piano
opera.
concerto on the boardwalk. Oh my
Yeah, I listen
God.
to piano all the time. I listen to opera music. Like I love like ballet and like those like kind of things. Like I really am like drawn to that kind of like creativeness and like and artistry
Mm.
that like and I feel like if you look at me, you wouldn't see that.
Right. Right. Yeah. Um. And then last, what's one thing giving you hope right now?
Um our customers,
Mm.
you know, our repeat purchases, our customers who like, you know, say who give us feedback, whether it be good or bad. I still take
Yeah.
all of those things to consider. Like, I mean, if you cry yourself to sleep over bad feedback, I think that's the wrong way to look at it. I love finding ways to improve. Like to me, if everything is perfect and looks good, like that's a fucking problem. So I
Yeah.
love to actually hear. I love to hear feedback. So like our customers give me hope. I think you know just the people that I surround myself with, like I really love and enjoy, and I think that that gives me hope and makes me just want to be a better person and keep doing the right thing. I think that we are kind of in a place in the world right now where it's hard to have like a lot of hope and like,
Mm.
but I don't know. There's just something in me that always just is like telling me that like there's more to it, there's more to it, there's more to it.
Yeah. I'm glad. I love how you answered that, and I was thinking to myself, I don't even know if the tables were turned, if how I would have to take a pass. I don't even know how I would answer that question. So, bravo. Thank you, Jadis.
Thank
This
you.
was incredible. I really appreciate it. Glad we
Yes,
finally
fun.
connected, and this was such a great conversation. I'm gonna drop links to the brand and to you, so people can connect
Thank
with
you.
you directly into the show notes. And I really appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. It's incredible.
Yeah, I appreciate that. This was awesome. I love talking to you.
Yay. All right, Jadis. Thank you.
All right, thank you. See you later.
Ciao. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Skin Karma Pod. Find more insights, real talk, and reviews of my favorite skincare products on the Skin Karma blog at skinkarma.com. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Substack, please rate and review this episode. It helps me to reach more listeners. Ciao.